we've had to become innovative because it's forced innovation. You know, we're trying to keep the doors open and keep the lights on.
The Modern Eater has traveled the roads of Colorado for years, bringing you the stories of the men and women who produce and serve our food.
Happy people make happy food that make happy customers.
From the peach trees in Palisade to the chili farms in Pueblo, the Modern Eater plows through the Rockies to expose the rising costs of food production and the ripple effect of inflation. Supply chain issues, labor shortages, and dwindling profit margins are plaguing small businesses everywhere. 3 weeks and 1,500 miles on the road, you get inside access to what Coloradans are doing to stay afloat in order to deliver healthy food and tasty beverages to you and your family. This is the 5th annual The Modern Eater Road Trip. Buckle up, let's go.
Wow, this is awesome.
Okay, here we go, the Modern Eater Show. We continue. Here we are in Palisade, Colorado on an Independence Day, and this is a good one. Fidel's is the restaurant we're at right now, and this is a pleasure. I got my sidekick with me, Chef James Doxon.
How we doing?
See you.
Love it.
And Jody and Jeff, good to meet you guys.
Meet you guys.
How are you?
Doing great.
Fantastic.
All right, now I really love to talk business, and I understand you two are doing great business here in Palisade, Colorado, and you have 2 cool businesses. First of all, Spoken Vine.
Yeah.
Spoken Vine is what?
It's a motel. Let me be very clear about that. It is a boutique motel, not a hotel.
Yeah,
Very
love
different.
it.
Yeah.
And so with that motel, you've got a lot of the people coming into town vibe going on, right?
Yeah, we opened about a little over 3 years ago, and we mainly see people from Denver and Salt Lake. That's the majority of the crew that's showing up there, and
Occasionally we get some one-nighters passing through,
Yeah.
traveling, moving, whatever, which
and,
is great.
and it's a small little place, so we get to talk to our guests, and a lot of our guests have actually become like great friends. So when they come into town again, we actually go out and hang out with them.
That is awesome.
We attract really cool people.
Through the years that we've traveled through Palisade, and this is the first opportunity that we've been able to catch up, but just a cult following, really, that you guys have gained with the Spoken Vine Motel.
Yeah.
And coming through there and cultivating that and meeting the people of the community, and what better way to do that were other business opportunities, and here we sit at Fidel's, right?
Yeah.
Talk about Fidel's for a moment, if you would.
So Fidel's, we opened 3 months ago. And last year, actually, we had an opportunity that we heard that the Palisade Cafe was closing. And if they didn't find a buyer in 3 weeks, they were going to close. And we were heading right to our summer season. And Palisade is small; we don't really have many options. So we thought we gotta come in and keep this restaurant rolling. So we did, and it was a good opportunity because we got to speak to the guests. Where are they coming from? What are they looking for? We were the 12th owners of the Palisade Cafe. And over the years, every owner did something a little different. And by the time we took it over, it was just a little disjointed. So we thought, do we just fix and make Palisade Cafe what we want it to be, or do we totally shut down and reimagine and rebrand and open up under a new concept? And clearly that second option was the way we thought was best for Palisade.
Yeah. And I think the most important part about what to know about Fidel's is that Fidel's are foster fail dog. We get that a lot. So people are like, why Fidel's? We're like, well, it's our dog. We got him as a little puppy. He was super cute. We didn't plan on keeping him, and then we fell in love. So foster fail, he came with the name Fidel.
Yeah.
And when we started thinking about the concept of the restaurant, we're like, what are we going to name the place? One of our friends was like, Fidel's. We're like, yes. So once again, it kind of hit, and here we are.
I love it.
So I always like to explain that, because people are like, Fidel's.
I met Fidel yesterday in your truck.
Yeah.
We were bouncing around. We were at the Palisade
nice.
Growers Guild.
Oh, cool.
So this is where I love the conversation, because it turns into that business conversation. I wanted James Doxon to join us as well, as he's the culinary director for Vibe Concepts. He's got 11 restaurants under his belt and growing. There's a lot of food costing that goes on, and basically one of the most organized guys that I know.
Well, I appreciate that.
And truly, and you really have to have those skill sets in business. So very interesting thing. You guys were in lodging and hospitality. What made you do the transition into food service? Have you guys had food service experience in your past?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I moved to Colorado from New York in 2001, and I moved to Steamboat Springs. And for probably about 10 years, I worked in food service. I worked everywhere from a fast turn and burn kind of breakfast place to a high-end restaurant up in Steamboat, and everywhere in between.
Wow.
And then I vowed to never go back to the restaurant business, and
Here I am.
And then I went into property management, and Jeff, on the flip side, he worked in property management and in Steamboat Springs, and then most recently was a manager of a really great tacos and tequila restaurant called Salt and Lime in Steamboat. He was a GM up there.
Sweet. So yeah, I mean,
So it wasn't that far
And once I
off.
got into that, I was like, we're never going to get in a restaurant again. Here we are.
well,
We both said it.
I always wonder that because I look at a lot of restaurant owners, and it's a labor of love. I mean, let's face it, and you get to embrace your community, though. But it's like a kidney transplant. Either you're going to take or you're not.
Right.
And if the community says no dice, then no dice.
Yeah.
It's gonna get rebranded, and that's where the conversation gets really good. As the Modern Eater, we're on the 4th day of our 17-day road trip where we tour Colorado, and we take the pulse, take the temperature of Colorado. Business owners from farms, ranches, breweries, distilleries, winemakers. I mean, you go down the list to the end guys, which are chefs and business owners, right? The rising costs of food production right now, it's a real thing. Things are skyrocketing. But it's weird on your sheet because some things are going up, then some things are staying the same. But one thing that does remain consistent is your relationships and how your relationships of where you're getting products, who from. It's just to be able to have that agility and that nimbleness with your buying dollars. Talk a little bit about how you manage that, and then we'll get into the conversation here about Palisade and Fidel's and how that's working out. James?
Well, so at the end of the day, relationships are our biggest asset, right? So we, for example, have relationships with all of our vendors. We like to keep those good and well, whether it's Cisco, Seattle Fish, Aspen Baking, Spice Guy. We have relationships with all of them. And of course, the better our relationship is, the easier they want to work with us and make things happen. So there's always a conversation around cost, right? And that's, they need to make their costs and we need to make ours. So it is that balance and that relationship. They don't work for us. And we don't work for them. It's a relationship. This is a partnership. And really the bottom line is, we need to, in order to drive costs down, we need to work together on both ends of the spectrum to achieve that goal. So drivers, having a shortage of labor force, like drivers with distribution, like Cisco or Shamrock or U.S. Foods or whoever, you're using. Us being ambassadors to help them figure that out, giving our opinions or solutions to people like the regional directors or president of that organization, that they might not hear that point of view always from the end consumer themselves.
Right.
They hear it from their reps, their employees, who work with us, but it's better from your mouth, the owner, the end consumer. And so just constantly having that conversation.
You've talked before, James, about, we've always in kitchens and restaurants have looked how to utilize everything, how to pinch those pennies. We've always been doing that. So it's like the rest of the industry has been trying to catch up with that mindset.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think because you're the first front, you're on that line of the consumer. You're meeting with them on a daily basis. So you're hearing that. But post-COVID, which I like to say post-COVID, you saw the jockeying for position of, okay, do we shrink to profit? Do we try and eliminate this job? Do we take less money for ourselves? Do we cut corners with the quality of our products that we source and bring into the kitchen? Do we put fees that are hidden on your receipt that you really can't find? There's so many things, but I think now we're turning to innovations. and streamlining and other revenue sources.
Right.
So I just want to kick it to you guys because there is a thing that says, hey, there's an $8 taco on the menu. Can I go to Fidel's? Can I do that? And I think it's a great conversation to start, but address that with what you guys are doing here in a small town in Palisade. That was a lot, I know.
Yeah, no,
but I just
mean, there's
want
so many things to comment
tee
on.
you guys up.
And we agree with all of it.
Do it.
It's amazing.
So what we were finding is post-COVID, a lot of places that we were visiting, whether they were restaurants or lodging or what, they're like, oh, we don't do that anymore, COVID. Oh, we'll still charge you the same, but you get less service. We'll charge you the same, you're gonna get a pre-batch cocktail, counter service, but you're still gonna tip, you know, that kind of thing. And I kind of call that, the term out there is skimp inflation. And what
I like that.
And what I think is, what we wanted to do was to continue to have an experience, whether it's the motel or the restaurant. We didn't want to skimp out on things, and we do think there are people out there that are still looking for a wonderful meal. Quality's there, the service is there, the ambiance is there.
Right.
We wanted to provide that for it. With that, though, there comes a price. But we didn't want to skimp on any one of those three elements just to get the price lower. So we're doing our best with food costing. We had things that we thought were going to be on the menu, but you can't get it anymore because of the supply chain issues. So we try to, our menu is pretty small in order to not run out of things and just know that if it's on the menu, we have it.
And cross-utilize to save money, pinch and pennies
Yes,
as usual.
yes.
That's right.
I mean, what I heard right there is let's simplify and do it very well.
Right.
Totally.
Yeah.
Chef Eugene Brown,
There he is.
come on over here, my
Speaking
friend.
of doing it well.
Good morning,
Buddy.
good evening. Oh, yeah.
Good morning.
When you hear it sticks, it doesn't matter.
It all runs in. Hand Chef a microphone, if you would. Sit
Here we
down
go.
for a second. We're having a good conversation. You came at the right time because
Yeah.
we're now switching gears into food, quality, simple, and doing things good. You're going to want to hold that microphone right in the middle there. Yeah, and then
There we
just.
go.
Would you like me to hold it for you?
No,
And just,
not that old.
just have the conversation. First of all, pleasure to meet you, sir.
It's a pleasure. It's truly a pleasure.
You're chefing around, huh?
That's what we do. That's what I do.
I love that. So here's where it's just great timing, where passionate people in the right positions, it's the right person, right seat, execute the menu. First of all, do you like what you're cooking?
I love what I cook.
Yeah, cool. What's your background?
I'm French trained. I didn't go to school. I was self-taught, and I worked in New York under some amazing chefs. I show up and grow up. It's as simple as that, and stay teachable. That's very important.
I love it.
Love that.
I love it.
You know?
And it seems to me, I mean, first of all, two great people here that are that own Fidel's, and to allow you to have that kind of creative wiggle room to grow and then also give feedback, because feedback's important,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And we have the same mentality. We have to never stop growing. We
Yep.
learn from each other.
Yes.
I think that, and one of the things that we were talking about before was just kind of how you manage the business end of this. That doing the execution and that type of stuff, that needs to be system oriented. This is Chef James Doxon as well, so you guys.
It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, there's two chefs.
Yeah.
Well, I
Throwing
think
it out
Always,
at
always.
the end of the day, numbers don't lie, and you have to have a system in place, and also have a redundancy in
Sure.
according with that.
Absolutely.
You know, because this business fluctuates, and whatever plan that you have in place, the masses will let you know.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
Sure.
And there's one thing to build that, and then to say, man, Chef Brown, we need to trust you to make sure that you're cross-utilizing these ingredients, and there isn't any waste in the kitchen, and that the labor is good, and that kind of thing. So being able to do that, that's uber helpful, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
You have to be able to have a plan in place. You can have a plan and have the perfect
Well, that's
schedule.
be nimble.
You have the first,
That's a kitchen, though. That's kitchen
Always.
life,
It
though,
is.
isn't it?
expect the unexpected.
Right.
You can't put anything in stone in this business,
Yeah.
and one of the reasons why I love it is because the possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
I see a plate as a blank canvas.
Sure.
You know, and
Look at this.
it's truly your imagination. If you set yourself up in a box and you have a ceiling, you're in the wrong business, because you have to be able to manipulate food, manipulate schedules, manipulate food costs, and be consistent.
Yeah.
And if you're consistent at the same time being good,
Yeah.
you got it halfway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that local community, we're very fortunate. We're getting a ton of locals come,
Yeah.
even though we're in a tourist town.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, we eat out a lot. And when you show up to your favorite place, it has to taste the same.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very important, because if you're not consistent, you will lose that local following. And in a tourist town, the locals will get us through the winter.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we need the locals.
Here's real life. Real life is this gentleman oversees 11 kitchens in Denver, Colorado, and in real
Wow.
life, you were about to not be able to make it to this weekend.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
there's issues of people that will walk out or culture, and at Vibe Concepts, it is just that. It's a vibe. It's a flowing with each other, not only internally, because internally is going to show what's on the outside there.
Right.
So creating that culture, that ethos, that vibe is very important for you all to be cohesive, to be able to work. Are you crazy? You had an opportunity to get out of this business and get into something else. Kitchens are difficult.
Well-
Staffing's difficult. What keeps you going on? Because I'm sure
I-
there's a sense of servitude and passion that you have.
You have to have a sense of a certain drive. This business is not for everybody. I've done a lot of things in my life. I was in the military at a young age. I got out after 8 years. Then I was a corrections officer. I didn't like any of those things because it didn't fit my personality. I came up in a really big home with 6 brothers and 6 sisters. We learned how to cook very early. And I could just always remember the fresh herbs and sage that my mom used during the holidays. And I loved it.
We were just talking about childhood smells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sage is one of those smells that brings me right back to childhood, because my mom always, she always had that palate. She was Southern, and she just knew what to do. And she never measured, but she kept it
always
real.
came out right.
It always came out right.
Okay.
So I love this business. It's the perfect love affair for me, and if this is a lifestyle for me.
Yeah.
It's not something that I just come to do.
Sure. Now it's time for you to mentor, to cultivate other people.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure you do that very well.
Yeah,
That's
grow-
something that you do well.
Grow our industry, yeah.
Right.
We need
It's
the
suffering.
legacy, right? We
Right.
need,
We need the
and
next-
2 big things I heard you say that are so important to the war on inflation and keeping a business alive is consistency and adaptability.
Right.
And those 2 things, if you're consistently have a great ambiance, consistent with your food, your portions, your seasoning, presentation, everything, your consistency with your staffing and holding, tenure and treating people well with respect, because at the end of the day, we're all adults and we're all, trying to do what's best or do what's right, or what we think is what's right for
Right.
the business. And adaptability, that's obviously a huge thing in restaurants, like scheduling and, oh yeah, we weren't able to get that in, right? Manufacturer issues, or that, chicken wings when they were $197 per case, now they're $97 per case,
Right.
thank God, back again. But, some people had to make tough decisions, and that's where that balance is of, do we stay consistent or do we adapt, and how do we adapt? Because the chicken wing example is, some people took it off their menus.
Right.
We chose not to because of consistency. We didn't want to 86 anything. We didn't want to take anything off, which drove our sales and generated more customers to come back after COVID because of our consistency.
Right.
And so now we're thriving, because of that. So
Well, let's talk about the fun stuff, which is the menu and the programs that you have. I think you were going to kick us out because we've been here so often over the past
Fine.
couple of days. Home run on
Definitely
the
got the call on Friday night when you guys were here. Like, where are you? I'm hanging out with the guys.
food program, amazing. Kudos to you. Cocktail program, we've gotten to know your staff.
Yeah,
It's just
man.
fantastic. Let's talk about this food here real quick, you guys, and what people can look forward to when they come to Fidel's, because I really think that it's a well-rounded experience, and I congratulate you for that.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. Where do you begin with this menu, Chef?
Well, first of all, apps. There it is. Get this. So apps. We were blown away by the poblano fries. It's just something so simple, but executed really well. And I'm sure the consistency is there as well with the execution. Just having that crunch, it's just something so simple, but it's unique, right? A lot of places in this genre of cuisine, modern Mexican, is, they're going to have the elote, they're going to have the ceviche, they're going to have the chips and salsa, the chips and guac, but I've never seen poblano fries done like this. And
what's your favorite thing
I really
on the menu,
appreciate it.
Jody?
Oof. The bomb-ass fish taco.
Yes.
I haven't had them yet, but I've heard a lot of
Everybody keeps talking
What's
about
your
it.
favorite thing on the menu, Jeff?
That and the elote. The bomb-ass taco and the elote.
Sweet. How about you, Chef?
I take a lot of pride in the pozole.
Okay.
I roast the bones. I do a nice mirepoix, and I let it sit on a low simmer for 24 hours, really, really low. And the next day, I come and do the next stage for that stock. So it's a scratch kitchen. So I take a lot of pride in that pozole. So
The pozole is amazing. I have to admit, and we honestly thought it was gonna fall off when summer hit. It hasn't fallen off at all. Like
the crazy
hot
thing about soups.
pozole.
If
in
it's
the middle
really
of summer.
good, if
Yeah,
it's
people
that
are
good.
cranking on it. We
Oh
had
my
one
goodness.
table last night of 6 people. They all got pozole.
Yep.
Like it's 100, and they were outside. It's like it's 100 degrees outside.
And if people know the background of pozole, it's very much in Mexican culture, it's very much a celebration soup. And I love that that's on the menu all the time because it is a celebration to come these days with friends and family and have an amazing meal and with amazing service. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly right.
That was great.
Look at this cocktail program and oh my goodness, it's just vast. I tell you what, that spicy cucumber margarita, stop. I mean, just stop right now. That's amazing.
That's
as
Jeff's
well.
creation.
Is that your creation?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So good.
Wow. I
I can I taste the tequila every day, multiple times a day.
Jeff
That's
is in charge of
soaking
the
on the
fish.
jalapenos and cucumbers. Like, oh no, it's not ready yet. Better take a bigger sip. Keeps me
I don't
to level
blame
on
you.
the day,
Yeah, I'll tell you what, you can't go wrong. So as I wrap this up, I love to give the opportunity. A lot of people from the Front Range and actually all of Colorado get to watch the Modern Eater, and I love to give you the opportunity of that 30 to 60 second elevator speech. Here's where we are. This is what we're doing. Want to come join us, and why? There's a lot of options out there to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. We want it to be that mid-range place in Mesa County that you can come with a bunch of your friends and just have cocktails. Maybe get some apps, or come and spend 2 hours with us and have an amazing meal. Come as you are, have fun, and just sit down and have a great experience with us.
Yeah, and we have an amazing mezcal and tequila lineup that I don't think there's a lot of that going in our area right now. So, we want people to come and learn about mezcal and tequila if they're a little timid about it or don't know about it. We want to be that place where they like, oh, let me go check it out. I've never had it before. So that's kind of the thought behind the cocktail menu.
Here's what I'd say: just don't even question it. Come
Yeah,
by,
right.
you'll
There you
love,
go.
you'll
Yeah.
fall in love just like we have.
Yeah.
I'd wish you guys good luck, but I'll just say
Thank
continued success because that's where you guys are going. Fantastic! I can't wait to see over the years your growth and to see what's next. It's fantastic. And we'll be right back down the road when the Modern Eater Show continues.